Hey everybody, Mr. Reeves back with you for another exciting episode of Math with Mr. Reeves. So we are continuing to look at lesson 1.3 subtracting integers. Hopefully got a chance to watch my first video in which I made the connection between the process of adding and subtracting integers on a number line or using tiles, and just trying to help you develop that conceptual understanding of what addition and subtraction with integers actually looks like. Okay, so today's going to be a little more focus on actually working through some problems and getting some answers, but we are going to continue to look at three ways with number counters, with the number line, and using the rules, so to speak, to get the answer. All right, so if you take a look on page 19 of your textbook, all right, they have a couple examples here with counters. All right, so first of all, when you first learned about subtraction in elementary school, you probably heard the word or the term takeaway, right? So that's really what subtraction is. It's taking away. So this first problem here, we have 4 negatives, right? 4 negatives take away 3 negatives. Well, what does that leave you with? It just leaves you with 1 negative. It's pretty simple to see, right? Because we all know that 4 minus 3 is 1. So 4 minus negative 4 minus negative 3 is negative 1. No problem. So as long as you have more to start with than you are trying to take away, you can just subtract, right? So for example, if I come up here, I'm going to do positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? I have 6 positives and I want to take away 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I left with? I'm left with 2, right? So 6, whoa, bad color. How about we go with yellow? 6 minus 4 is 2, right? And if I had simply made them red, if I had done negative 6 minus negative 4, the answer would be negative 2. So subtraction as takeaway is no problem as long as you have enough to take away, right? Where you run into a problem is when you're trying to take away something that you don't have. For example, if you take a look at this problem, you have 6 positives and you're trying to take away 3 negatives. Well, I've got 6 yellows and I want to take away 3 reds, and they're not there. All right. So this is where it gets a little tricky with counters. All right. But everybody knows, right, that 6 plus 0 is 6, right? 6 plus 0 is 6. So what we do is we say, well, if I don't have the 3 reds that I need, I'm going to go ahead and put them there. All right, do you remember when we talked about what a 0 pair was? All right, a 0 pair is that positive and negative together. So guess what? This is 0, this is 0, and this is 0. So what we actually have here is 6 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. But by doing that, what have I done? I've given myself the 3 reds that I need. So if I start with 6 and want to take away negative 3, I add 3 of those 0 pairs. I then take away those, and what's left? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so you are left with 9 yellows, right? 9 yellow counters. And so what do we get? We get 6 minus a negative 3 is 9. So let's go back up to not our number line, Mr. Reeves, to our color tiles. So let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 reds. And what I would like to do, and you know what? Let me actually do this. And I'm going to put in 2. All right. So what problem that I want to do is I want to do 8 minus a negative 4. All right. I want to do 8 minus a negative 4. So if you take a look at what I have, actually, what am I thinking? Okay. Here we go. All right. I want to do negative 8 take away 4. Let's try this again. Sorry about that, guys. Negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Negative 8, and I want to take away 4. Well, we have a problem here, right? I want to take away something that I don't have. I want to take away 4 positives. So what do? I bring in these 0 pairs, right? There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there is 4, right? Now, what do I have up here? I have negative 8. What do I have down here? I have 0, right? Because these all make 0. So do you guys agree that by adding 0, I haven't changed my value? I sure hope you agree. But what can I do here now? Now I can take away those 4, right? Gone, 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 and gone. And so what do I have now? I have negative 8 take away 4 is, what do I now have here? Negative 8 plus negative 4, right? Which gives me what? Negative 12, or 12 negatives, okay? So again, with counters, if you want to subtract, that's just take away, right? If you have enough, you just take them away. But if you're trying to take away something that's not there, then you simply bring in those 0 pairs, because all you're doing is adding 0, right? And then you can take away, and then you'll have your answer there left, okay? So that's how you subtract with counters. Either take away what's there, or add in those zeros and then take away. All right, add in those zeros that you need. Well, what about on a number line? If we're looking on a number line. All right, and this is where hopefully you watched that video earlier, because I went over what it meant to subtract on a number line. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here. I'm going to put one this way, and then I'm going to put another one, and they always default to going that direction. Okay, so I've got one going each direction. All right, so if I want to go to the right on the number line, you know that we can add a positive. But how do we go to the right on a number line? By subtracting. That is, subtract a negative. All right? And then over here, how do we go to the left by subtracting? Well, that is when we subtract a positive. Okay? So on a number line, look at that. I don't like how they're not the same. Can I make this? Whoops. Here we go. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make those about the same height. All right, OCD. It's too tall. There we go. Okay, so whenever you subtract a negative, you will go to the right. And whenever you subtract a positive, you will go to the left. All right? That's what you do if you're going to subtract. So if we go back to the textbook here, right? They have 5 take away 3. They are going to the left because they subtracted a positive, right? So if I have the problem here and I want to do negative 1 minus 5, here we go. So here's negative 1, right? And I'm subtracting a positive. I'm subtracting a positive. So again, when you subtract a positive, whoops, I didn't mark it there. When you subtract a positive, that's going to go to the left. Let me mark this so that way now when I go back, we will have it there. Whoa, wrong way, Mr. Reeves. Ooh, this is craziness. Here we go. This is where I wanted to be, okay? Negative 1 minus 5. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. And what does that add me at? Negative 6. Okay, so start at negative 1 and move 5 units to the left. And where do I end up with? Remember, on the number line, the answer is always where you end. The difference is negative 6. By the way, that would be the same as adding a negative 5, because remember, again, if you refer back to the previous video, there's 2 ways to go back to the left. you can subtract a positive or you can add a negative. Okay? All right, what about this next problem? What about 7 minus, or excuse me, negative 7 minus negative 3? So I'm going to start at negative 7. All right, I'm going to start at negative 7, and I'm subtracting a negative. So that means I'm going to move to the right. Subtracting a negative means I'm going to move to the right. How many units to the right? 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 units to the right, right? And so really remember, when we were doing addition, how would you go 7 units to, I'm sorry, how would you go 3 units to the right? You would add 3. So subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. So negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. Negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. All right, so once again, when you are asked to subtract a negative, just start whatever your first number is and go that many to the right. And when you're asked to subtract a positive, just start at whatever the first number is and go that many to the left. Subtracting a negative goes to the right. Subtracting a positive goes to the left. Subtracting a negative will make the number get larger. Subtracting a positive will make the number get smaller. All right? Okay, finally, let's just look at if we don't want to use counters or the number line, especially as the numbers get larger or much smaller if we're talking negatives, then we really don't want to be working with counters. The counters and the number line are great for conceptual understanding and helping us to understand the process, but sometimes we just want to do it quickly, and that's where this process of adding the opposite comes in. All right, adding the opposite, because that's what subtraction is. We've already seen it some. Okay, so let's just take a look at some problems here. Okay, your turn on page 22. I have negative 7 take away 2. We know, right, that I am subtracting a positive, so I'm going to have to go left. All right, so negative 7 take away 2 is the same as negative 7 plus negative 2, because that's how I can go to the left. Subtract a positive or add a negative, right? All right, what about this one? Negative 1 minus a negative 3. Well, what happens? What did we say happens when you subtract a negative? It goes to the right, right? So negative 1 minus a negative 3 is the same as negative 1 plus a positive 3. All right, many math teachers are famous for doing this. They just say go like that. All right, I know some math teachers. I think Mrs. Williams is one of them. She goes like this and makes it into a big plus. Subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. All right, subtracting a positive, that's going to move to the left. So that's going to become 3 plus negative 5. Subtracting a positive is the same as adding a negative. And here we go back here. Subtracting a negative, that's going to move us to the right because subtracting a negative gets bigger. So we get negative 8 plus 4. Again, oftentimes we will do that. All right, and now you notice, what do we have? We have addition problems. That's why it's so important that you learn to add integers, because if you can't add integers, you can't subtract them. All right, here we go. 7 negatives plus 2 negatives. I get 9 negatives. 3 positives plus 5 negatives. I get 2 negatives. All right, negative 1 plus 3. What do I have more of? I have more positives. How many more positives do I have? I have 2. And 8 negatives plus 4 positives. What do I have more of? I have more negatives. How many more negatives do I have? The difference between those two numbers is 4. All right, so that is how you do integer subtraction on a number line using counters and just using this idea of adding the opposite. All right, so hopefully that is enough to get you guys going. All right, There's some practice that I have set up for you, and if you have questions, feel free to contact me. All right, I hope this video helped you out. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.